Welcome to another episode of the Carry Trainer Higher Line podcast. Mickey here again with another edition of the Carry Trainer Higher Line podcast. I'm very pleased to have my friend Joseph Sinagoga here from New York, which I believe is under snowfall today, right?
You guys Quite a bit. Snowing like crazy.
Fantastic. We just left here a few days ago. One of the things that we're going to be talking about today is Joseph's mindset. Does that seem like a fair assessment?
Very fair indeed. Yeah.
Can I call you Joe?
Definitely.
Does Joe work?
You can call me. Yeah, Joe works great. Yeah. In fact, everybody always called me Joe until I joined social media a couple of years ago. And I just put my full name up there at Joseph Sinagoga. And so now everybody refers to me as Joseph, which is very interesting. It's the first time in my life anybody's called me Joseph. So,
nice.
Yeah. So Joe's fine.
I'm looking at your shirt. It looks like you had your new shirts made.
Well, this is interesting. I was on a dear friend of mine's podcast, Mitch Aguiar.
Sure.
So Mitch is an awesome guy. And he contacted me, I guess, about 2.5 years ago. He was going to be in New York. And he contacted me, said he'd like to get together and train. And so we got together, we trained, we hit it off, and we've been friends ever since. Well, he does Instagram Live, which is kind of like a podcast. And he had me on as a guest, I guess about 2 months, maybe 3 months ago now. We talked about mindset is everything, which is, his sort of ethos. And I kind of thinking about mindset is everything. I thought a lot about it and a lot about how my evolution into who I'm becoming is really sort of mindset is everything. But the next logical step for me is mindset in action. So meaning mindset is nothing without action.
Sure.
So we talked about that on his podcast. And he said, as an aside, I thought, well, I'd like to make a shirt that reads mindset in action. And I said, that'd be so cool. So sure enough, he texted me a picture of this shirt here. Said, what do you think? With my name underneath. I'm just so flattered. So very exciting. But this is really my ethos, mindset in action. Oftentimes we're our own worst enemies. And what I always tell people is just go. Just get up and go.
Do something.
Yeah, do something. It doesn't have to be a lot.
Let me talk a little bit about how I met you. Social media, like we're talking about, that's kind of like the new norm, right? For how we,
sure
we connect with people. It's no longer I ran into them at the bus stop or something like that. But and I'll say a few things, and it's in no way insulting to you. You're 54, right?
55.
55. Okay, even better.
Yes.
You're 55 years old, and
yes.
The part I was going to say is insulting, is I don't want to make fun of your age. For a 55-year-old guy, when most contemporaries your age are unable to tie their shoes without grunting like a walrus, you look like the cover of a Men's Health magazine. So every day you post up a little workout. I'm assuming you're in a park by your house, playground kind of an area, and you're out there, rain, shine, snow, sleet, whatever the weather, cranking out some crazy CrossFit-esque type of exercises. And interestingly enough, you're out there every day and you look great. It's an interesting thing. Like people are like, oh, he's so lucky. Look how great he looks. And then they forget that, well, Joe's out in the rain and the snow and the sleet and the sun and the wind, burning it and sweating and making it happen. So have you always been a fitness fanatic?
I've always been active. I grew up playing sports. I was good at hockey. I was good at golf. I really love golf. I was pretty good at all the sports that I played. Then I kind of lost touch with exercise and physical fitness for about 10, 15 years. And things really started to happen for me again in 1998 when I met Deb. And she's just been really the catalyst for, me not only evolving, but also getting in touch with who I was as a person. And so it's interesting because everybody wants kind of like a quick fix and they want 6-minute abs and all those things. But to make a lasting impression and to make sort of lasting change, you really, it's over the long period that it happens. And I'm referring to, like, Deb and I met in 1998, and it takes a while to really change and evolve and to, if it's going to be a profound change, because it's for me, it's a permanent change. I mean, things have gotten so much better since then. And so this summer we'll be together 20 years. So I'm very excited about that.
So you're out in the park there by your house. I'm assuming that you must have people that come by that are on their way to and from their jobs, dropping their kids at school. And does some of them like see you as like the crazy bearded guy that's out in all the weather, flipping tires over and playing on the jungle gym? Do some of them cheer you on? Like, I can't believe you're always out there.
Well, I get a lot of people who join, who now train alongside me, and a lot of people who I in turn train. So it's very exciting. And I think that if you're sincere and if you're honest and putting forth an honest effort, people really, they gravitate towards that.
Sure.
And, you know, a lot of people want some of what that is. And so it's really an interesting thing. People come along with their dogs, and that's kind of my rest period. You know, when I see a cute dog come up, I'll just stop and, you know, pet them and then go back to getting after it. But yeah, the reaction is very positive, whether it be down at John Jay Playground, which is about a half mile from where we live, or in Central Park, which is a little over a mile. And mind you, I carry everything into the park or into the playground. So 50, 100 pounds, battle ropes, kettlebells, chains, all those things I carry.
So you just,
you know,
flop this stuff over your shoulders and.
Well, yeah, I've got some backpacks. Like I really like the 511 backpacks. I don't get paid to say that, but I like them.
Sure.
They hold up. I train with them in all weather. They work great. For my battle ropes, I just got an old sea bag at the Army Navy store. So I stick a bunch of stuff in there as well. My whole philosophy is if I can't carry it, then I have no business using it. So, you know, I won't, you know, I don't half-ass it. I don't get in a cab. I don't get on the subway. If I have to walk a mile and a half to train and then walk back a mile and a half, that's all the better, you know?
So you're not a big fan personally of a gym with iron weights and all the machines and things?
Well, I do like gyms, and they do have their value, but for me, I'm always thinking about the outcome of training. Specifically, this year, I'm really going to dedicate myself to start bow hunting.
We talked about that a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. I've been hiking, and I'd like to transition from just hiking into some more challenging hikes. This September, hopefully I'll be out in Mount Whitney. I want to climb Mount Whitney. So everything that I do has some sort of an eye towards outcome.
Okay.
And I don't know that, I'm sure you can get a great workout in the gym. I used to belong to gyms for years, and I did like it there. But for some reason, I just don't feel the same sense of satisfaction or the same sense of accomplishment that I do when I go outside, say a day like today. It's miserable. And I don't know if you saw my post today. You did.
I did. I commented.
That
storm just rolled through here a couple days ago.
Yeah.
So we had that same snow.
So I actually waited for the conditions to deteriorate to go out. I switched my day around.
Had to
so
look
I
like a
did.
hard ass out there in the sun.
Hell yeah. Well, you know why? Because in real life, that's going to happen. And if that happens in real life, you have to be ready for it.
Sure.
Either in a gym, it's going to be great. You know, it's going to be, there's music and all kinds of stuff to distract you and people to talk to about, you know, all kinds of topics that people like talking about, like religion and politics and stuff. And, you know, at the end of the day, when you're stuck on a mountain and it's snowing or raining, or you've got to get to the top and you don't have a choice before it starts, or if you're hunting all day in the miserable weather, or, you know, or going into the octagon and fighting where there's no place to run or hide, you're going to fall back on your training and fall back on those times. And that's where the mindset comes in.
So what you're doing, and just so people are tracking, and this is the basis of our discussion, is you are using that training to help program and reinforce the programming already in place. Your programming.
Yes.
As you called it. And that's something I think is completely lacking in how we are raising young people today. We teach people to look for the easy paths, right? the path where even something as simple as don't go out in that snow, you might catch a cold. Well,
right.
That's what hardens you and makes you tough, is to go out there and play in that cold and snow and do those kinds of things. So I think in any area, finance, relationships, weight loss, or muscle growth, people always, you just said, they look for that simple fix. Like, what's the one thing I can do to cut a bunch of fat or look great? And it's like nothing is that simple. Or how can I get my credit score up 200 points?
Yeah.
It's like, well, wait a minute. We got other issues here that we got to deal with. And
very true.
People have, in general, tend to shy from the hard work. And that hard work, as you're describing, is what cultivates that mindset. So like one becomes the other and it perpetuates itself. Right? Yeah,
and absolutely. You start to realize how lucky you are then, because here you're meeting people, here you're accomplishing things, and people will say, oh, wow, it was a chance meeting. Oh, I can't believe how I lucked out. Well, it's not luck, because you had to get up and get out and be in that position. And also not only be in that position, but also recognize what's happening, and have the mindset to recognize this opportunity. To me, it's to that point, a lot of times people will say, hey, I need help with this. Well, typically when someone says they need help, what they're really saying is, will you do this for me? Because if you actually say, oh yeah, I can help you with this, here's what you need to do. People will be like, that's not what I want to hear. So they'll go on to someone else until they get to someone to go and do it for them. Sure. And so that's actually really, to me, what mindset and action is all about. It's tattooing all that onto your brain and making making mental toughness your lifestyle. That's it.
Sure.
That's it for me.
That's a big portion of my training program at Carry Trainer. And I like to remind people I wasn't always this way. And I'm not always this way. There's days I wake up and say, crap, I just want to lay here, or I don't have a good attitude, or there's days that I'm short or rude or cutting. And I think that my goal is to be able to stop, recognize that, be it a bad attitude, a negative attitude, a dismissive or corrosive attitude. I want to be able to have the mental checks in place to be able to say, okay, wait a second, that's not the outcome I want, and spin it around. It's not always for me fighting through physical adversity. Sometimes it's looking in the mirror and saying, hey, you're being an asshole to people, or you're not living up to the standards that you set for yourself. It does, you know what I'm saying?
I do. Yeah. And I often find, please, I know that feeling. Yeah. I feel that way as well. A lot of times, you get fatigued, first of all, you're working all the time. You explain certain things to people, and then they come back and ask you the same question, which when you're in that state, you're thinking, oh, that's such a dumb thing to ask. But what I tend to do in those situations is look at myself and say, how am I projecting myself onto that person to have them react that way to me? And oftentimes I catch myself, and then I have to readjust my attitude and say, oh, you know what? It was me. I was kind of being a jerk. It's not easy, but I think a lot of it, I train first thing in the morning personally for myself, and that tends to drain a lot of the bullshit and all of that, and give me this sort of mental clarity that sets me up for a good day.
I like that too.
Yeah. And then all the BS that
I want to kick my shoes off and relax.
Unless you're going to train twice a day, which is also fun. Like today I did. Yeah. So I did pull-ups in the snow this morning, and what did I end up with? About 400 push-ups or so, 450, just as I was doing some incidental stuff around the apartment today. So
you're working on the computer, vacuuming, whatever, you'll drop and do 50.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
it's a great way to build fitness through volume and also greasing the groove, which I'm a big believer in, especially as we get older.
Greasing the groove.
Yeah.
Expound on that.
Greasing the groove is when you do multiple sets or multiple repetitions that are like, say you can do 20 push-ups.
Okay.
So you'll do a set of 10, but you'll continue to do sets of 10, multiple sets of 10. So you're building your fitness through volume versus one set of 50.
I see.
I find it works really, so it works great for me because it's easier on the joints. You get that volume in, which adds up over the course of a year. I mean, you'll do, hundreds of thousands of repetitions.
It's kind of like just paying attention to the steps we take around the office or around the.
Yes.
Sure. I'm a fan of that kind of stuff. Park my car, not like I go to the farthest spot in the parking lot. I'm not gonna kill an hour trying to find some sweet space that'll save me 10 steps. I'll pull 100 yards from the door and jog in and out. And you mentioned the other day, now we don't have, where I live in the country here, the tallest building might be 10 stories, but you said you took this, I'm assuming it was your building? You took 2 floors of steps every day. I'm a big fan of that stuff. When I show up at a hotel, because we travel often, if I'm wherever I'm at, I find the emergency exit just because of the safety aspect of it. When I need to go to dinner or do whatever we're going to do, I take the stairs down. It's like, hey, it's just like you said, it's cumulative. I do that every time. Now it's one step farther away from heart attack zone. Right.
Exactly. Yeah, absolutely.
One step farther away from old age, taken over. And that I think is for me, that is the essence of my ethos. It's not taking the hard path to be hard. It's because that's what we're designed to do. I'm not designed to ride elevators and
very true.
Sit on trains and stuff. I want to, I like Pat McNamara, Pat.
Yeah, sure.
Friend of mine. People often will say oh, he's a phenom. He's genetically gifted. And it's like bullshit. The dude has all kinds of traumatic injuries throughout his life, from his time in the Army. He does what you do. He gets up and he'll be on a range after a 12-hour day of training on the range. The students will go home and he'll go find a boulder and pick it up and start exercising with it when everybody else is back in the hotel showering or having beers. And then he gets the result. So it's not just some genetic gift that people have.
He works hard. That's it. He works really hard and his mind is right. Yeah. Was it recently his birthday, I think?
Yep. A couple days ago.
When's his birthday? Yeah, right. I thought so. I wished him a happy birthday.
Yeah, there's 53.
Yeah. But for me, it's, I think about leaving nothing to chance in my training so that when I transfer those skills into either the field of play, mountain, or hopefully pretty soon the hunting grounds, then I won't
hunt in Central Park, by the way.
Not in Central Park, no. In fact, Central Park, that's what Mitch said to me. He's like, what are you going to do, shoot a dog? And so I was like, no, I'm not going to, no. You have to eat what you kill. So, but no, I don't think the archery isn't legal in Manhattan. Yeah, the closest place to shoot is probably about a half-hour subway ride away in Brooklyn. So yeah, there's all kinds of restrictions in New York on things of that nature.
That can be sent as a projectile, they tend to regulate the heck out of there.
Yeah, javelin. Can't throw a javelin here.
I'm not a big fan of your state. I think that is the nature of the way most people live their lives. They look for the easy path. I got this problem. Let me go to the doctor and get a pill.
Right.
Or let them stick this thing in me and suck the fat out that I pounded on. And you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do.
We're not. I did a video the other day. I busted out some one-arm push-ups, and
I saw that. Very impressive.
I do a drill. Thank you. Coming from you, I mean, that's whatever, but
that's very true.
That kind of stuff. Like somebody was making some jokes about it. Like, when would you ever need to do a one-arm push-up? And it's like, well, that's silly. And then somebody commented that it's a good way to injure your shoulder. And I said, well, I've been doing them since I was like 10, and I've never injured my shoulder doing it, because you build up to these things. And So a couple people commented like, what's the point? And it's like, well, there's the problem that you're asking. What's the point?
Right.
Well, the point is keeping our body fluid and loose. And for me, it's not showing off that I can do some one-arm push-ups. I very much like you am trying to inspire people to, and I'm not a picture of fitness like you are, but inspire people to keep moving, keep going, keep grooving and moving. And you said it so good a second ago. It changes your perspective. As you see your body start to change, as you get your blood pumping, your muscles are pumped up. It's pretty hard to be in a bad mood.
Very true.
You've always got a big smile on your face.
Yeah, true. The interesting thing to your point about the one-arm push-up video is oftentimes people just like to transfer their insecurities onto you, right? Sure. And there's a guy who I really like and admire, had the great pleasure of meeting in New York back in October, David Goggins, who I'm sure you've heard of and have seen. And his latest post was just incredible, where it was titled "Stop Listening to Dumbasses." and he was referencing when he was breaking the pull-up record. Okay, it took him 3 attempts. After the second attempt, he came up short by about 800. And of course, someone came up to him on the street and said, 800, you're never going to do this, blah, blah, blah. And his response was, well, how many have you done? Did you do 3,000 pull-ups in the past, 17 hours? And that's just it. A lot of people put those insecurities onto you because they're just not willing to work that hard, or not willing to work hard enough to get to do what it takes to be able to do one-arm push-ups. One-arm push-up is impressive.
Is he currently the world record holder with those pull-ups?
No, I think someone beat him recently. I think some guy in Texas beat him. Okay. And I don't know by how many, but he held that.
Right, that Marine, I think.
Yeah, big dude. I don't know how he did it. I mean, it's just like you look at him, you're like, holy moly, that's awesome. So,
yeah.
But David is something else.
That's a 24-hour push-up. It's what it is. Most amount of push-ups, or I'm sorry, pull-ups in 24 hours.
Well, I'm not sure I'm not sure if there's a time limit, but I just think, it was over 17 hours that he did a little over 4,000 to set the record. So I'm not sure how long it took the current. Yeah. But it's true. Like, that's exactly it. They're putting their insecurities onto you. Like, what's that? What good is that for? Things like that. Well, get down and start doing those things, man. Come on.
Sure.
Join the club.
That's the way I look at it. I have a lot of friends that'll say things to me like, I wish I could do that. And this is my response to that. Why aren't you? Or when people talk about problems with politics or their job or their family, and they say things like, I wish they would make a change to this. Who's they?
Right.
Who is this mysterious they out there that's going to come and, push buttons in your life? Become the they that makes the change. So this mindset in action. How many people seen that shirt on you and ask what it means?
Lots of people. Yeah, lots of people that I, here in New York City, lots of people on social media. It's so funny because there's some people who have purchased the shirt from Mitch's website that I hadn't seen this one guy since high school, 1979.
Oh, cool.
And he messaged me on Facebook, said, I just bought one of your shirts, Joe. So
it's so cool.
Yeah, and I'm really hoping to start this movement and get people excited about, as you alluded to earlier, the they is us. We're the they. And if you want to, talk about it from a religious standpoint, I'm not sure how religious your viewership is or your audience is. It's kind of like, man witnesses destruction or bad things in the world and says, well, why doesn't God send someone to take care of this? And so God's response is, I sent you to do it. Right. And that's it. That's the truth.
You're there. Do it.
We're here, and I spent my whole life being that. I spent my whole life being like, I wish somebody would do this. I wish I never, ever, I didn't grow up with any type of guidance, with any type of, instillment and self-confidence in myself that I can do things. I kind of got the opposite message growing up. And, and even now at 55, there's still some things, and, it comes back, and sometimes it comes back to me in certain situations where it's you start to hear those voices.
You're saying the programming from your youth is still there.
Yeah.
That's hard to shake, man. That's hard to shake.
Hell yeah, it is. But it's something that's what I'm working on every day. And that's how I go out and I say to other people, look, I'm overcoming these things. I have overcome XYZ. If I could do it, you could do it. And
sure.
So, I mean,
what was the impetus for you? What was the moment where you were like, you know what? I don't want to be the guy that says they should do something about this. Was there a moment, or was it a gradual progression?
Well, it was a gradual progression, and it was also people that I looked up to who found value in me as a human being. First of all, Deb, second of all, and I know this is going to sound somewhat shallow, but when I joined social media, when I joined Instagram and Facebook, I connected with people that my message seemed to resonate with, that I held in high esteem. And I thought to myself,
on that real quick, not to derail.
Yeah, please.
Why would that sound shallow? I get it.
Well,
it's this because I mean, I use social media to connect with people. I'll make my point and then you comment on it.
Okay.
People often say to me, like, it's stupid, it's just Facebook, or it's stupid, it's just Instagram. And I say, fuck that. That's still a human being on the other side typing. Yeah. It's still a human being that has feelings and emotions and desires and hopes and dreams and fears and all those things, just as I am a human being. And I suppose we have more of an opportunity to be insincere or hypocritical when we don't actually see the person face to face. And, most of us use social media. I just commented on this the other day that I try to be the person that I am. Like when the computer's not on or the phone's not taking pictures, I hope the person I'm sharing with the world is the same one that my wife or kids see. Now, on that note, this is what I said to somebody. You go on a date where you're at the office or church, you're not doing the same things on a first date with a girl that you are with your brother, or at the office, you're not doing the same things that you're doing at home on the couch. So there's a difference between courtesy and good manners and hypocrisy. So I don't think you're shallow. Yeah. I just had to make sure.
No, right. Well, I think
you weren't saying you were. I just wanted to comment so people listening would hear that.
Well, I think what I meant was it's the generation, like from people from my generation didn't grow up with social media. And every so often you'd hear, like back in the, when I was a kid back in the 60s and 70s, especially in the 70s, and you used to 14, 15, 16 years old, and you'd hear about, not online dating, but people would have like computer dating and things like that. And it'd be like, oh man, what a loser. You've got to resort to things like that for your friends. And I think that it's just a little bit of that old time thinking and that generational thinking. But what it's allowed me to do is not be someone that I'm not, but it's allowed me to be myself, which, people are always, and I resisted for years. And I just thought it was all about, well, me, that kind of a thing. Because who do we see on social media? We see celebrities. You turn on the news and they talk about big time celebrities on social media. So you tend to kind of skew your opinion through that. But once you get onto social media and you connect with people, and they could be like-minded, they could be people that aren't like-minded, but are interested in hearing your point of view, it becomes more than just me. It becomes like we, in terms of a community. And if you're sincere, and if you're not going to fuck around, then what you can do is you can be yourself that way. You can evolve that way, and you can connect with people who find value in what you do and say, and in turn, you can hopefully add value to them. And there's Mitch, who is just a great guy. There's another gentleman who I connected with via Instagram. His name is Beau Butler. And Beau is just a great guy and a great friend. He lives up in New Hampshire. he came down to New York to attend one of Jocko's musters here. And he credits me with helping him through a difficult period of PTSD that he was going through one of my posts in an indirect manner. He brought me a gift that it's one of my favorite. I'm not a materialistic guy. He brought me a center mass bell from Sorinex.
Oh, nice.
And yeah, and it's just the coolest thing. And so, he and I connected that way. And I'll never forget that big smile on his face when he came running around the corner, running with this 50-pound center mass bell. He runs up to me and he's like, "Uncle Joe, it's you." And he gave me this big hugging kiss. And, we've been great friends ever since. And so
that's fantastic.
That's one of the stories, that I just, because he credits me with helping him through a difficult period, that really resonate with me. And so, that's who I am. What you see on Instagram is who I am. I'm positive. I don't believe in being negative to people, even if people are being a jerk. I think that there's a way of talking to them and a way of diffusing that situation without it escalating. I get very little negative comments on my posts, and
it'd be hard for the things
yeah.
you're posting. Somebody would have to be a real grouch to be.
Yeah, very true. Very true. Yeah, and I keep it very clean too. I'm a clean guy. Clean living, clean eating too. Right?
Sure. That's it. Unlike the pork I ate today.
Well, I like pork, but I don't really eat a lot of pork. But I hope that eventually, I hope to kill a few pigs.
Oh, it's fun.
And wild boar, yeah, especially because then they're just overrun in the South.
They are. They are. Yeah, I just came back from a hunt in December with my son doing that.
Was that when you were in Texas?
Yes, sir.
Okay, because I did see some posts of you at Rogue American.
Yep. Every time I get down by Austin, I try to get by there and see those cats.
I have two friends who moved there. Yeah, I can't wait to go down and meet those guys.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, I'm a big supporter of those guys.
The sooner you can get away from places that don't let you throw javelins, the better.
Yes,
that seems
buddy
like
of mine,
like a pretty huge infringement of constitutional rights right there. No javelins.
Yeah, but if you've been to Manhattan, there's so many people.
I know.
And
I'm just playing.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy how many people there are here, and just on a daily basis, you're bumping into people, and that's everywhere.
Sure.
So I can understand
why.
To
me is somebody must have got hit at some point with a.
Oh, sure. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Somebody went to their local, whatever you guys have, their councilman or something, and said, "We got to do something about this. I've got javelins."
Right.
Landing in my backyard. That's funny. Yeah.
Very true.
I live in about 50 miles outside of Chicago, and if I look out the window here of the home office, I can see 20 miles of open farmland off in the distance. So I'm fortunate. I'm a big fan of going west. I'm not a big fan when I travel east. Too many.
Yeah, well, I like it. I'm the same way. In fact, I like it. The further west I go, the more I like it.
But you live in the heart of American civilization there.
Yeah, I mean, it has its benefits, and it's certainly, it does have its benefits. I'd like to go. I have a good friend who works out at Jim Jones in Salt Lake City, my friend Michael, and he's always inviting me out. And I've spoken via instant message to Lisa, who's the owner of Jim Jones, Lisa Beauchard, and they both invited me out there. So, and I actually even said to Deb the other day, I texted her and I said, "Hey, let's move to Salt Lake." So I've never been, so I'm going to go out and check it out, and certainly visit with them and see those guys.
Good city. I think Johnny Primo is a Jim Jones trainer.
He is. Yep. Yeah. He's. I know he went through the whole program there.
Yeah,
I really like those guys. Like, if I have to go indoors and train, like, I will go where there's a gym here in New York City that's called Gym 105, and those guys were Jim Jones disciples. Like, if I'm going inside, I'm going to be training with that type of gang.
I gotcha.
It's the Jim Jones guys who I really like.
I'm pretty simple. I've got a jump rope, a couple heavy bags, a pull-up bar, some weights.
That's all you need.
I go.
And
Go
Please,
ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you.
No, I always tell people that you were born with everything you need.
It's true. I've been a big fan of the body weight exercises. I remember as a kid, like I can't dunk a basketball or anything like that. I'm 6 feet tall. When I was 20 pounds lighter, I could grab the rim with both hands, but I couldn't.
Oh, that's all right.
Dunk. But I could jump up and land on our deck railing, which was 40 inches. I could just jump and land on it. And my buddies thought that was like bizarre. And I was like, well, I don't know if it's bizarre because like my brothers and I would just always try to do it. And so tens of thousands of times jumping and falling out into the yard, landing in the bushes. Eventually we got enough ability, and I can still jump fairly well for my age, but like you just said, that repetition of all those times, just with my own body weight, I didn't have to have anything fancy or expensive or complicated. Just go out and move.
Those things are distractions to me. That's why I go to the hardware store. I get a bunch of chains, put them around my neck.
The chain that you do your bear crawl with, that you bought from a hardware store?
Yeah, there's a hardware store about 3 blocks away, and I was walking and went in there. I had to buy some other stuff. Said, "Hey, how much are those chains?" And he told me. I said, "Yeah, I'll get one." And then one wasn't enough, so I got 2. I'm going to go back and get another one.
How much?
50 pounds isn't together. They're 50. Okay. Which isn't enough for me now. For weighted bear crawls, it's not enough. Pull-ups, I'm good with like 50 for like 2-3 reps, which I'd like to work on.
How many reps?
But it's simple. With 50, I could probably do 3. I did 4 the other day with 45, with a 45-pound kettlebell around my waist. That was at the end of my workout. So I don't really train those movements as often as I should. Like if I'll do a dedicated push-up workout, what I'll try and do is maybe 600 push-ups with the 30-pound chain around my neck, and I'll do sets of 10, sets of 15 on the rings to make it harder.
I just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Come on, man. You can do it.
I love those rings, man. I've got a set in the basement, and friends of mine will come and they want to play with them. And I go through like fits and starts with them where I'll use them like crazy. And if I have any kind of shoulder inflammation, I try to stay away from them. Like my one shoulder's been jacked up on and off for years. But if I've got any kind of shoulder issue, I kind of stay away from it. But when the shoulder is 75% of the time it's in good working order, it takes a simple exercise and turns it into freaking hell.
Yeah, very true.
Like a dip or a push-up. So I'll do flies with those things. I'll get the rings like 6 inches off the floor and do push-up. I don't know what you'd call the movement, but like a combination of a push-up and a fly.
Yeah, what I do is I'll look at Rudy's posts.
There you go. Yeah, I'll see if I can do what Rudy does. There's another guy right there.
Yeah.
People look at him and say, he's so gifted. Actually, he's in a hotel room right now somewhere, probably lifting the bed up over his head. Yep. Have you met Rudy?
Working out. Yeah, I've worked out with him here in New York. When he's in town, we train together. Yeah, always. Yeah, we always connect when he's in town. He's coming down to our event in North Carolina, or South Carolina rather, Myrtle Beach next Oh,
week.
Really?
Yeah, I'm going to have him speak down there. Maybe you
Which event is that?
That's my S12 event, that one that we've been advertising for the last couple months.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
So come down and talk a little bit about kind of some of the stuff we're talking about. His guiding principles for life. See if the people that won will give them a little bit more than they bargained for. We'll not just shoot. We'll try to pass on some information that they can use to make their lives better.
Yeah.
Oh
man, that'd be awesome. Yeah, because I know he's going to be down at I think he's doing something with TRX. He's doing something with the Warhorse Gym at the end of April. But good for him. I'm glad that he's coming down to that for you.
Yeah,
he's such an awesome guy.
I haven't seen him in a long time, so it'll be fun just to hang out a bit. And have you read his book?
I haven't read his book yet. No, I mean I read Generation Kill and saw the miniseries. but I haven't read his book yet.
Yeah, somebody else, when I asked them that, they said what you just said. This book has really nothing to do with war. He has some anecdotal stories in there, but it's like, it's just some deep shit going deep and trying to program yourself to be a winner at life is really what is the purpose of the book is. So what's the next step for MIA?
The next step for MIA is spreading my message via my forthcoming website, which I'm working on now. Taken out, and it was before the MIA shirt though. So, but there's lots of other great action there. Just trying to build my training business.
So,
and
people will be able
word
to
out that way. Do have a job, so.
Say that last sentence again. You got a little broken up there on us.
Sorry. So what I do is my main goal is to become a full-time trainer. Right now I train people, and to support my goal as a trainer, I have a full-time job, my day job. I work in retail. So I'm hopefully phasing out of that and moving more into full-time training.
Fantastic. So people will be able to go to the website, maybe find out how to get in touch with you, training opportunities.
Absolutely.
What else?
Yeah, and they can now as well at my Instagram and the Facebook. So I mean,
what is your Instagram, Joe?
At Joseph Sinagoga, and it's spelled out. Yeah, JOSEPHSINAGOGA, and that's the same for Facebook. And those are the only two platforms I'm on at the moment. I tried to go on Vero, but it crashed.
Did it? Too many people went on there. I didn't have an account there until I saw their rules of.
Okay. Yeah, just as well, probably. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll get it back up and running. So
yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
I'm on Twitter as well. I haven't been messing with Twitter for a few years, but I really should revive that. People seem to like Twitter, but I've got my hands full just with Instagram, and just sharing stuff to Facebook.
There's so many different avenues to get in touch with people. And I see for you, no matter where you go, you got an infectious smile. The message that you're passing on is relevant and valuable, regardless of the mode of communication. If you guys are looking to be inspired to do better in your life, if you're looking to be inspired to get up off your ass, go check out Joe's Instagram page. Every day he posts himself doing some crazy workout. You look at his super fit body. No, I'm not sexually attracted to you, Joe.
I'm flattered.
But you're a ripped stallion, a 55-year-old ripped stallion. I've seen high school athletes that don't look like you. So that's it's fantastic. So go check it out. And then when you look at that, start looking at his message of mindset and action, and see if you start to see the correlation there between action and the physical result. I think that is the biggest problem plaguing the American citizen this day and age. What will society do for me? What will my government do for me? What will somebody do for me, rather than what can I do for myself? How can I better my position, and how can I create whatever life it is I want? It is all about action. That's one of my sayings, is like when people talk about knowledge is power, that's silly to me. It's like, until you apply it, it's inert. It's a can of gasoline. It's a car without a key. It's
very true.
A fire built with no match put to it. Until you apply that action, and we too often forget that. What would you like to say to the people listening? Give them the couple-minute pitch before we go on your. We've talked a little bit about the mindset, but how does somebody right now get up off their ass and start taking their life in a positive direction?
Well, thank you very much, by the way, for having me on here. This is terrific, and I'm quite honored. But it's honesty of effort is what I talk about. Don't worry about the repetitions. Don't mean shit. So, like, if I do 1,000 push-ups, if I do 100, if I do one, it's the honesty of effort. I'd be just as impressed with somebody who decides to get up off the couch, put their exercise clothes on, walk down to the playground or the park, or just go out to where there's a pull-up bar and attempt to do one pull-up or one push-up and then go back in. I mean, that's a huge step for some people. And that type of respect I have for that person as I do for someone who's going to go out and break the pull-up record. You have to start and be patient. I'm becoming more patient the older I get. People want this, 5-minute abs, 6-week program and all that. But in reality, it's you have to make it your lifestyle. You have to change little by little your eating, your training, your mental outlook, and just get up and move. Mm-hmm. The discipline it takes you to get up and move is going to transfer to that in school. It's going to transfer that in work, to your interpersonal relationships. So just your honesty of effort is the thing that you really need to examine when you're going to be starting anything new, and especially like a fitness regimen. And don't listen to, and stop listening to dumbasses. Because what they're going to do, it's awesome.
That should be a T-shirt right there.
Oh, hell yeah. But Goggins is right. They're just out there hating on you, and they're not working hard enough. And pretty soon you're going to outwork them all.
I agree. I try to use a lot of self-talk. Different people use different terms for that. Auto-suggestion, neuro-linguistic programming. I try to speak to myself whenever I have lulls in my day, not to fill the void, but to, and I'm not always trying to fill voids to keep myself busy, but if I have a moment that I try to, very specifically, not just things like I'm good enough or I can or I'm a hard worker, but I use very specific wording and phrasing. I share this one with people all the time. One that I say in the shower almost every day is, today is a wonderful day. I'm thankful to be alive. I thank God for all that I have, all that I shall have, and all that I have, and all that I've had, and all that I shall have. Pardon me. And then I say, I move mountains with my words and actions, and I move mountains with my deeds. And that I feel the more I have professed those types of things to myself. You were commenting on people connecting with you, saying, hey, thank you. You got me through this rough time, or something that you shared with me I found valuable. I'll have people just send a message or an email. And I don't share this to pat myself on the back, but just that, hey, if me just sharing little things is meaningful to somebody, then it is for you to do that, or for somebody else, right? If we step out and be a good damn human, that's what it is to me. Like I get these messages. Yeah. Sometimes I'll get a little misty. It's like, fuck, that is exactly the fruit of what I programmed into my life. And there it is, somebody sending me a message, and it's not always something like hugely deep and meaningful. It might just be, hey, I appreciate that you took 5 minutes to share XYZ the other night. It meant a lot. Like, for somebody to sit down and type that meant it impacted them in a meaningful way. And if now they take that and pass it on to their children, to the people they meet, like, damn, we're making a freaking impact in the world. That's important, which is why I was attracted to you in a completely platonic, non-sexual way. Gotta keep
awesome. Well, that's, look at you. You're too funny. That is too cool. But I do love that message what I do is like something very similar, except that my audience is our cat, which I don't know where he is now, but
it's awesome. What do you say to him?
Yeah. Well, I'll just bounce things off of him, about how I want, to set up my day. And, if Deb's already left for work or something, it's just me and him. And so, it's just kind of like, it's self-talk, but it's out loud. And I really like speaking out loud, because it drives home that point to me. So
yeah, we're
how I want to go out and yeah.
Does the cat ever answer?
Yeah, he's very vocal. Yeah,
Is he?
He's very vocal.
Does he ever rebut your ideas or give you some better input than what you came up with?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes.
Nice. Now we're going
to he'll rebut those ideas in the form of, like, he'll just bite me. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you were going to say, like, hey, let's go have
he'll bite my leg or scratch.
Okay. I wanted to make sure that he wasn't like talking to you in Latin or something. I wasn't sure if Joe was.
Oh, right. Yeah. No.
Joe, I look forward to being able to meet you in person one of these days soon. I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
Yeah, man, I can't wait.
Well, when we post this up, it'll be on 4 or 5 different locations. We'll have a link for people to find you on Instagram and Facebook, and
thank you.
They can connect with you. I'm sure there's plenty of New Yorkers. New York is actually one of our biggest viewership areas. So got a couple friends on NYPD.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure there's people, that will hear this.
Okay. Yeah. Same here.
That guy's right down the street.
Yeah. Well, there are lots and lots of people that I'm friends with in the police, fire, Department of Justice, so that work in New York. So hopefully they'll be listening.
Perfect. Well, I appreciate your time, sir. We're going to wrap this up. If any of you guys have questions, you want to reach Joe, if you go check him out at Instagram, Joe, one more time. It's
at Joseph Sinagoga. That's JOSEPHSINAGOGA. And that's me on Instagram and Facebooky.
If you can't find them there, send me an email to training@carrytrainer.com and I'll get you in touch with them. And you guys be well. Keep trying to cultivate your mind, take you to the place you want to be. Don't let the world control you. Don't let negative thoughts and influences direct the course of your life. Become the they in that.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Amen. Visit our website, carrytrainer.com, for information about classes held throughout the U.S., Carry Trainer apparel, and upcoming projects. You can also email us at training@carrytrainer.com for information about setting up your own private course or speaking engagement. Training@carrytrainer.com or carrytrainer.com.